So for number 4, you're finding a slope, and they gave you 2 points, but unfortunately for some people, the numbers they gave you included fractions. Oh no! But what is good about these fractions is they were at least kind enough to give you fractions that already have a common denominator. The problem with all this, though, is that if you're using the slope formula, which you should be using for this one, so y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, when you plug this in and work it out, you end up with a fraction inside of a fraction, and some people get confused about what that means. Well, y2 was 2, minus y1 was 5, x2 was 5/4, minus x1 was 3/4. And it should be a pretty easy thing to subtract. 2 minus 5 should give me negative 3. 5/4 minus 3/4 should give me 2/4. I can reduce that. What's 2/4? It's 1/2. So this is negative 3 over 1/2. And some people looked at this and they said, well, what do you do with this? Well, isn't a fraction the same as a division problem? You're being asked to do negative 3 divided by 1/2. So how many times does 1/2 fit into 3? So this is, first of all, a negative divided by a positive, so I'm going to get a negative number. How many times does 1/2 fit into 3? Now, half's a pretty easy thing to work with. You could just count it off. Half, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3. That was 6. You could remember the way that fractions work. If you divide by a fraction, you're supposed to multiply by the reciprocal, which also gives you negative 6 over 1, which is negative 6. It doesn't matter which method you use for this, but you need to understand that if there's a fraction inside of a fraction, it is a division problem. It's the same thing as if you had a fraction that reduces to a whole number, like 4 over 2. That'd be 4 divided by 2. It makes a whole number. So just don't forget, a fraction is a division problem, and if you keep that in mind, this one shouldn't be that difficult.